Hello YouTube, Totalhenry here, and I'm back with another episode of what I'm reading and watching, a weekly show where I talk about the manga and anime that I've read over the past week. In the description below you will find a list of what I'm talking about and when in the video I'm going to be talking about it, so you can sort of skip around and watch what you want to watch and not watch what you don't want to watch. And anyway, I'm going to start right now. I'm going to go pretty fast because I have a lot I want to talk about. Starting off is Toriko, chapter 326. This was the 7th anniversary of Toriko, so congratulations. And I like this chapter. They set all the different pairs of teams of people that are going after the full course meal of that guy, Akiach. No, that's not. I'm butchered his name. Whatever. The famous gourmet hunter's full course meal, and the team pairs are very interesting because I don't think any of these groups of people really get along. They're not really friends, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens, what the dynamic between these characters are going to be. And I'm wondering whether the author is going to focus on one group of people for the whole time till they get the food, then do a flashback to do the other one, have them get the food, or whether it's going to be like this one goes, then this one, then this one. So you're doing it a little bit all at the same time, sort of like the CP9 arc in One Piece, where there were a bunch of battles going on, but they showed the start of like Zolo's and Sanji's at the same time, and then like they would go back to Zolo's, and they go back to Sanji, then they would go to Luffy, then they would go back to Zolo, and then they would finish up with Zolo, then they would go back to Sanji. So I'm wondering if that's how they're gonna do it, whether it's just gonna be like a straight shot or just one at a time. Next up is Bleach, chapter 629. Nothing happens in this chapter. Everyone is just running. Why won't the fighting start? Bleach has been terrible. That's all I have to say about that chapter. Nothing happens. A fight might start next chapter, but at this point, I don't even know. Next up is One Piece, chapter 789. This is an okay chapter. It was just a build up to the final double page spread, which was really awesome. I really liked the double page spread, the last page, but it's the last page, so you want to read more, but you have to wait for the final chapter. Other than that, it was just a build up to the final page. Next up is Nisekoi, chapter 173. There was a nice color page. It wasn't a double page spread, just sort of a title page. This was a funny chapter. There wasn't really any point to this chapter, and I just wish Shu had a bigger part, not only in this chapter, but in the entire series in general, just because Shu is the best character. He's the funniest character. And every single chapter that he's in, I like, regardless of any other chapter. Like, regardless of what happens, if Shu is in the chapter, I like it a lot. But he didn't really do anything this chapter, and there wasn't a point to this chapter. Next up is Shokugeki no Soma, chapter 121. I have the volume here. No more picture. I have the volume. This was a great chapter, Shokugeki no Soma. Great series. Reread volume 1. Fantastic series from start to finish. But anyway, chapter 121. Great chapter. I can't wait for this festival. Soma, he has a great idea. But like in theory, it's a great idea in theory, but can he pull this off? And that's what I really want to see. And I love the way that each chapter here is interesting. There's drama in each chapter, but overall it just spikes up the drama. And unlike Bleach and Nisekoi and One Piece this week, things get done. Well, not One Piece, but Bleach and Nisekoi. Read Shokugeki no Soma. Things are happening, but the drama is still there. So next up is My Hero Academia, chapter 45. This was a good chapter. It was very interesting. Another sort of non-battle chapter, sort of a quiet little chapter, which is nice after all those chapters of constant action. There were some funny parts. The ending was very interesting. I don't know whether it's good, bad, or in between, or ugly. But I'm intrigued by the ending, and I hope you get to find out what happens at the end or in next week's chapter. Next up is Haikyuu, chapter 160. This was another good chapter, and as always with Haikyuu, a lot of action, great panels, great character expressions. The ending was really good in this chapter, and next chapter is in Haikyuu will be a very crucial point in this match, so kind of excited to see that happen. Next up is Black Clover, chapter 16. Awesome chapter. I love this chapter. Fantastic series. It started off with an incredible color page, very good art, very good coloring, very menacing, set the tone for the entire chapter. And there's an incredible back to back double spread that almost looks like a flip book, sort of One Punch Man style. There's going to be a huge fight in the next chapter. There are huge fights in this chapter. The action is just incredible, and I also love the more information we got about the Diamond Kingdom. It's very interesting. I like that little bits of information are leaking out every single chapter. It's not just like a whole wall of text. It's not like a whole block of information. A little bit at a time, and you don't feel like information is being forced down your neck. So great chapter. Next up is Naruto, the 7th Hokage in the Scarlet Spring, chapter 700 plus 6. Interesting chapter, incredible fight scenes, really good, cool fight scenes. Naruto and Sasuke both getting in on the action, and very powerful new enemies. And it looks like this is going to take some time for Naruto and Sasuke to defeat. And there are lots of questions popping up, like about Sasuke's daughter, like what his relationship is to her, like that family right there. Sardaya, I believe that's her name, Sasuke and Sakura. What's going on there? And also, what does Sakura mean in the very last panel? That's what really intrigues me, and I think it has to do with the Uchiha Shin. I don't want to say what I think, but because I worry that would give a spoiler, because I think it's right, because I'm always right. So next up is Jumpstart. Jumpstart is when Weekly Shonen Jump in America brings the series from Japan over to the US, and we get to read the first 3 chapters and then vote to see which one of these series we want to have in Shonen Jump in America permanently. So the 2 series this time around were Straighten Up, Welcome to Shikahai's Competitive Dance Club by Takayuma Yokata. I already reviewed those 3 chapters. You can find them in the previous videos in the playlist on YouTube. And then there's Devilyman by Kentaro Fukuda. And right now I'm going to be talking about the last chapter of Devilyman, chapter 3, which was an interesting chapter. And I still can't really tell where this series is going. I thought I knew, but it's just so hard, and nothing really concrete has happened. It's an interesting series. I am enjoying it. The art is pretty good. It's funny. It's serious. It has a lot of good things. They introduced a new character named Rui Kuriri. She's a female police officer, like a newbie trainee police officer. And I don't think she's going to be part of the main squad of characters, just because the circumstances, in order to see the devil, you have to be evil, and she is the opposite of that. She is like a total goody two-shoes. And I don't really think this series needs a whole group of characters like Naruto with Team 7 and Kakashi. I think this series is fine with the 7-year-old kid, Eiru, and the devil, Madoguya. But I'm also starting to get bored of this series just because nothing that's happened. I think there needs to be a storyline, or needs to be some plot. And also the first 2 chapters have not been that entertaining. But, if it's in Jump, I will keep reading it. I don't necessarily think I'll be talking about it every week, but I will keep reading it because it's interesting. The next thing I want to talk about is All You Need Is Kill by Takashi Obata, and you can see the original story and the storyboards by those people. I read this before, but I just got the physical volume. This is a Fantastic series. This is a series you need to check out. I read it the other day, the whole thing in one day. Fantastic art right here. The art in this series is just incredible. And I love this series so much. I couldn't put this book down. This is just an incredible series. The art is good. The story is interesting. Even when you've already know what's going to happen, it's still a very interesting story. It's very creative, and you love the characters, and you want to see them succeed. And the ending just breaks your heart. And there's a nice feel good moment to it, and it's way better than the movie. I forgot it's way better than the Tom Cruise movie, Edge of Tomorrow. The manga version is better. Maybe I'll read the original novel because I'm such a fan of this series, but check this out. This is incredible. Next thing I'm going to be talking about is Brody's Ghost by Mark Crilly. I just read book 6 to finish the 6-volume series up, and I have to say I love this series. Really satisfying ending. This isn't the greatest thing in the world, but it's really solid, really good. The art is good. Here, I'll show you some of the art from like the first volume. The art is like solid. I like the character's face. I like the guy there, Brody. He's kind of a cool character. Just very interesting story. If you know Mark Crilly from YouTube, it's very Mark Crilly-esque, and the final volume, it wraps the series up nicely. Personally, I like it when, like, especially in a mystery sort of detective thing, police chase thing, when you have a whole cast of characters and you can look at it and the reader can decide who the villain is going to be, who the murderer is. That's not the case here. It's a character that comes out of nowhere, but the evidence makes perfect sense, so it's not like you're left wondering, oh, he can't be the villain because this doesn't make sense. It makes sense, and I sort of understand why it was done this way, because this is more a story about Brody and Talia's relationship. Talia is the ghost, and sort of like their journey, Brody growing up, than it really is about Brody trying to catch the penny murderer. But you know what? All that being said, great series. You have to check this out. This is volume 2, not volume 1. You have to read Brody's Ghost. Only 6-volume series. Not that long. Not that expensive. Really recommend this or any of Mark Crilly's series. Really great series. Now the last thing I want to talk about is a movie, a Korean action film noir type movie that I watched called The Divine Move. This is a movie about the game of Go or Weichi or Baduk, whatever you call it. I'm a huge fan of Go. I love the game. I love playing it. I'm trying to get better. I'm studying the game. And this is a movie that about the game. The Divine Move is a thing Japan has about, like, it's the perfect move, the perfect game, something that every player hopes to achieve through like lifelong study, and it's almost like seen as this like impossible task thing that's always out of reach, thing you have to strive for. And this movie, The Divine Move, this Korean movie, was directed by Jo Bum-gu and starred Lee Byung-soo and Jun Woo-sung. Now, Jun Woo-sung, I will say, looks like Tom Cruise, which was kind of distracting for me in the movie because I think he looks a lot like Tom Cruise. And it was a very bloody movie. It's rated R, but a lot of scenes of the Go board, a lot of talk about Go, which was interesting. The story wasn't great, but it's an entertaining movie that I think, if you can get past all the blood and the gore, I looked away like several times. It's an entertaining movie. You will enjoy it while you watch it, but it's not a movie you're going to be thinking about over and over again. It's not a movie you're going to want to watch again. But nevertheless, entertaining movie, and on the whole, I did enjoy it. And that is it for another What I'm Reading and Watching video. I know I talked about it a lot. I've been talking for 15 minutes. I need to get a drink of water. So thank you again for watching my video.